Lake Como Council will go into workshop session. We have one item on our agenda, and that is the discussion of stones and gravel in the Verge. This is a topic that was brought up at Planning Board, and the Planning Board asked me to pass along to the council to have this discussion about possibly looking into an ordinance reflecting restrictions on what can be placed in the verge. The definition of a verge is the area between the sidewalk and the curb. The planting area, I guess you could say, if you look at different towns and different code books, it's defined in different ways. But for the purpose of our discussion, the verge is the area of pervious surface that is between, or what should be pervious surface, the grass strip between the sidewalk and the curb. This has been a topic of discussion in the town. I know that we probably haven't talked about it as a council in maybe 15 years, but the planning board has discussed it over and over, and they asked us to mull over the idea. As of right now, I've asked Vivica Graham, our secretary to the planning board, to pull some examples which were shared with you of different ordinances for different towns and what they allow, or if they even have code that addresses this issue. And if you look at some of the things that were shared with you, I believe you received examples from Allenhurst and Avon and Belmar and as far away as East Brunswick. That's fine. Currently, the Borough of Lake Como, he's good, the Borough of Lake Como does not have anything other than what is part of the uniform code, which does not allow plantings over a certain height, and in the site triangle. So if we want to look at possibly extending that or expanding on that, the idea coming from the planning board is that they think that it's a bad idea to have at least have stones in the area. And that has been the topic of discussion, to remove the possibility of allowing homeowners to put stones in the area of the verge, because of the fact that they become very dangerous when you're mowing lawns or the street sweeper comes by and they start flinging stones and breaks windows or car windows or house windows. So that's one idea. We can discuss further if we want to even restrict other plantings and just have grass. So if you've looked at some of the ideas that were sent to you, and I know that you may have gotten this late. You should have gotten it. You definitely should have gotten an email, and it's definitely in your shared folder, because I'm looking at it in a shared folder right now.
Workshop documents.
Are you in the shared folder? Oh, is this a copy of?
Yep.
Yeah, here, Nick.
Thank you. Sorry.
So, for instance, just as an example, if you look at what was provided to us as an example from Belmar, their ordinance says that if a sidewalk is not paved to full width, the space remaining unpaved must be sodded and maintained at the same grade as the pavement. So that means grass only, and it can only be as high as the pavement or the same grade as the pavement. I don't know if the council, bless you, I don't know if the council finds this to be a concern. I don't know if this is something that you even want to act upon. That would really be up, that's why we're having this discussion.
Mayor, that was gonna be a question of mine, has this been a problem, stones?
So, I can also refer to Doug. Doug's Doug's probably talked about this more than anybody, being on the planning board and council for the time that he has been. I don't remember talking about it on council for many years now. So I'm not necessarily sure if it's a huge problem.
The only thing that was brought up years ago was planting of like flowers and shrubs there. That was brought up, and that's why we went into the maintenance thing, because if you have flowers there, people can't get out of their car, open the doors up, because they would, the flowers or bushes, or they have little fences they were putting around, and we outlawed them. That's the only thing that we talked about years ago. There was not, never talked about stones.
Is that why trees are not allowed also? For the cars?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But people used to put little flowers there, they put a little fence around them,
Yeah.
and then when somebody pull up, they can't open the door to get out of the car, because, you know, you're getting,
Trees are there.
everything.
So there are some areas where trees are grandfathered. I know on 17th Avenue they're grandfathered in. There are definitely places where people have put trees where they probably weren't supposed to at certain points.
Well, I think it's a good idea to ban stones, you know, like you said, because they get into the street, and for plowing or sweepers, or, you know, if in general, you know, they're not good.
Would that also include brick?
Well, I think brick could be okay, as long as maintaining the same level
Right,
as the sidewalk.
right,
It's not loose.
correct. It wouldn't break wet.
So I can see the issue when we bought our house, we have stones on our front lawn, but not in the verge area, it's behind it. And that's a constant battle for us on our driveway, of the stones going on the driveway and all that kind of stuff.
So there was, I think there was, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there was a discussion at the time for banning stones up to a certain distance away from the street, right?
Yeah,
Whether
no,
it be
so
4 feet, 5 feet.
I can see the issue, and, you know, just because my sidewalk goes to the street, I don't have a break, right, what you call a verge?
Mhm.
I don't have a verge, so I can see the issue, but like just now, I just walked my dog down 17th, and there's a house there with a large frontage that has large stones, the new house. So something like that, I wouldn't see as an issue. You know, I can see the little stones kicking up and so on and so forth, but those stones, Holly, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty large. So, and they look good, you know?
Are they the big white ones?
They're loose, they're about like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
The big white ones, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't, you know, I don't know how,
Well, again,
oh, they can, they probably can. And they're probably more dangerous if
They do.
they do, but, you know. I don't know. It's kinda.
Any other thoughts? Questions? Does anybody have a desire to move on something like this?
I think we should.
Yeah, okay. And you wanna limit that to stone?
Well, I think that we should ban stone and gravel, and get, you know, and plants, shrubs and fences. The only thing that should be there should be either paved or pavers that keeps the same level as the sidewalk
Or grass.
Or grass.
or grass.
Would that include the larger stones?
I would say no. I think they should be banned, that's just my opinion. Because, you know, also if you get out and you step on a stone, you could easily, the one the stone is higher than you actually sprain your ankle or, you know, trip on it. That's just my opinion. But, you know, you guys are wishers.
Anything?
I just, so, I'm sorry if I missed this, but can you say again why the the planning board wants to, I know other towns, it looks like other towns have an ordinance and other towns don't. And we don't know of any issues that have come up so far, so what is their?
And I say the planning board, but we have to remember that it's planning board, zoning board. So
Yes.
they're worried about zoning, they're worried about code. They're worried about what people do with their house when they come before the board, things like that. It has been a topic of discussion, one of those items that have been repeatedly discussed over and over again over the years as, you know, members of our zoning board are residents, right? So they get feedback from their neighbors and they get feedback over time from what's going on with them. That this has been an issue in the past. Loose stone being, I guess, tossed around, and it's messy, right? So it's messy too, and they get a lot of feedback on that part, that there's stone all over the place, whether it be on the sidewalk or in the street, and then it just becomes a danger. So that's really where the feedback comes from. If it wasn't brought up at a zoning board meeting, I probably wouldn't have brought it to the council. This was just something that they asked me to bring, something they've been talking about for a long time, and it's really where we're at.
Now with the large stones, if they wanted to put them in cement in there, that would be okay with that.
But you're saying you wanted it to be even,
Yeah, that's not great.
so then that,
Yeah, well, you can.
Are we gonna have to absorb the cost of this?
And would
A
we,
lot of infuriated residents?
right, would we be grandfathering in people that already have trees, bushes, and stones, or would everybody be asked to wipe all of that out?
So my belief is if you're making the order, you're creating the ordinance for a reason, then you would have to give residents a certain amount of time to remove whatever stones that they have in that area.
And trees and bushes.
Well,
Whatever your ordinance says, right?
Right, right.
but I couldn't have them remove trees, but they were probably there for years, the bushes, yes.
and then I have a question. What about those, I mean, I know we're talking about the verge, but would that then lead itself to people who have pebble driveways? Because that leads right up to the sidewalk as well.
So, like I said, there have been conversations in the past about an ordinance can say something to the effect, this is just an example, you cannot use loose stone 4 feet from the curb, right? And you could say something like
On the
that,
sidewalk.
right? Or no, I mean, even 4 feet from the street.
But it would have to be, it couldn't be the sidewalk, because then the driveway would be in.
Right, you could say 5 feet, you could say 10 feet, however you want to,
Right.
however you want to speak about it.
That's the-
Depending on how many feet you would do would include your driveway.
And that was been brought up by the planning board many times.
Or you can just say the verge.
Or you could just say the verge, which covers everything from the sidewalk to the curb.
Right.
So that wouldn't include
Okay.
4 or 5 feet in?
It would not include anything on the other side of the sidewalk. But that has been discussed. So, I don't know if you want,
Everybody want to think about it and hold it over to the next meeting, and then we can talk about it again?
Yeah.
Everybody can think about it?
at this time, I'll open to the public, if there's nothing else from the council, I'll open to the public for any comments they have on the workshop item. No, 1 second. Anyone wishing to speak to the workshop item discussion on stones and gravels in the verge can come to the mic and do so now. Write your name and address, please, Steve.
Stephen Petrosino, 312 18th Avenue.
Full disclosure, you're on the zoning board.
I'm on this- Not a fan of the stone.
Yeah.
I agree with Doug. I think it's a hazard, but more importantly, I think it's an eyesore, because I have yet to see a verge with stone that isn't in the street. It's always in the street, and I think it is dangerous. And then when you get into snow removal, the plows are gonna pick it up. I think limiting it to just grass could be hard on the resident, but I think certainly keep it something that's flat, something that's at grade. The large stone, I spent 30 years working in the utility. Our transformers always were surrounded with the larger stone for oil absorption and fires, and it was known as ankle busters. It was a workman comp nightmare. It was a large stone, you twist your ankle. So I don't think that's a good idea. I think you keep it flat, pavers, grass, something low, like you said, so people don't trip getting out of the car. I think it works. Implementing it, I leave it up to you guys, it's gonna be tough. But maybe you do it on a CO basis. So as a home is sold, it gets CO'd, they have to flip it to correct ordinance, something like that. That's all I got for you.
Thank you. Yes, and to build on that, you could do it for COs for renting as well.
Yeah.
You can do it twice a year.
This may be an odd question, but does it, if they put pavers down instead of grass, does that have anything to do with, or pave it? Does that have anything to do with coverage, lot coverage, or any issue like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the borough, we count pavers as 50% of impervious surface. If they were to pave it, or I actually have a neighbor that blacktopped it, that would count against their impervious coverage, or their pervious coverage. Impervious coverage, thank you. So that's definitely something that you would have to take into account as well. Another full disclosure.
Allison Krella, 1825 Bradley Terrace. I'm also a member of the zoning board. Obviously, this has come up.
Small town, right?
It is. Obviously, it's come up for us, and I'm a little bit on the other side as far as requiring residents to have grass in that area. You know, there may be other options. Obviously, there's issues with the stone, but in my mind, if you don't water that grass, you have dogs, obviously are going to the bathroom on the grass, creating dead spots. I'd say that probably doesn't look good either. You know, an area of dead grass or kind of spotted areas. So, you know, there's a lot of different pros and cons, but I think on that end to require something like grass or pavers, which is going to take away from your lot coverage, then you're sort of pigeonholing residents into something that is not necessarily going to solve the entire problem.
Thank you, Allison.
We could put in the ordinance that it doesn't affect your coverage.
I think we can do it. I think we can do that as well.
Yeah.
Which might be important, because I think a lot of people have it right down to the square footage when they
Maybe
figure
you
out
could say
exactly
that
what kind of coverage to
The
have.
verge doesn't affect your coverage.
And I think that would allow for water to seep through, unlike than just paving over it. I would rather see moisture be able to get in and out of it.
Yes, sir. Steve Hernick, 1820 Greenwood Terrace. We just rebuilt our house, and we went through the whole planning and everything. We purposely did not put grass there. We didn't put stone or anything. I understand not wanting stone. But we did pavers, and we did clovers between low-lying stuff so it doesn't go too high, it doesn't break any of the height ordinances. But we put in brand-new grass a year and a half prior to rebuilding. Half of it was dead, and we have sprinklers. Because people park on it, people dump their stuff when they were emptying their coolers at the end of the day, coming back from the beach, and we're all the way up on Greenwood. And not to mention dogs and everything like that. So, I mean, I'm all for no rocks, that's fine, but open it up to something more than just grass, because I think you're really gonna create a problem that way.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Bill Yashki, 1825 Bradley Terrace. If you do pass the ordinance or over the ordinance, list what you can put there.
Awesome, thank you. Seeing no one else, I will close the open portion of the workshop meeting. We have some notes that we'll put together and we'll bring back for further discussion from the council. Thank you all. Thank you for everybody from the public as well. At this time, I will call the regular meeting of the Lake Como Borough Council to order. Please rise for a salute to the flag and a moment of silent reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Sunshine law, please.
As you know, this meeting has been provided by the adoption resolution, the time and place of agenda and regular meetings commencing with January 2nd were set forth. Notice of same was posted in the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star and Deputy Clerk, and a copy of the notice is posted on the Borough website and on the bulletin board in Borough Hall. All meetings are open to the public.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Liddy?
Here.
Skull?
Here.
Councilman DeFoe is not here tonight. Councilmember DeMauro?
Here.
Ventries?
Here.
Alvarado?
Here.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the September 3rd workshop meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
The minutes are approved. Can I have a motion to approve the September 17th regular meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Thank you. At this time, we will move to reports of committee, starting with Councilwoman Albala Doyle.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no reports of committee, but I would like to send out a few congratulations. Lake Como Day, the 100th anniversary Lake Como Day was a huge success. It's my microphone.
Can you just sit? I'll pick you up still on peaks.
It was a huge success. I don't need the microphone, you can hear me now. I just wanted to send a few thank yous out, Councilwoman Skull, and to Council President Liddy. It was an amazing, amazing event with the joint efforts of the two of you. The addition of the 5K and the fishing contest were amazing. You know, police, you did an excellent job, Chief, with everything. And like I said, Councilwoman Skull, outstanding. Amy and Drew, you guys were here from the beginning to the end, and all the DPW guys, and it was a bang-up job by everybody. Thank you. Other than that, all matters are in order.
Thank you. Councilman Ventries.
Thank you, Mayor. I share those accolades for everyone. It was a fantastic Lake Como Day. I loved it. Everyone I spoke to loved it also. From the Environmental Commission, actually the Environmental Commission had a pretty involved stand themselves. If you look in the lobby area in Borough Hall over there, they have the posters up that they had on their table. This Saturday is the Fall Lake Cleanup, meeting at the gazebo from 9 to 11. The Academy Charter High School students are looking forward to it again. One thing I wanted to pass on from the Environmental Commission was on September 13th, Scott Young passed away from ALS. He was vice chair of the Environmental Commission before my time, probably about 10 years ago. And as I understand it, he and his wife were very instrumental in starting the butterfly garden. So if that's going to be maintained, the butterfly garden, the Environmental Commission was proposing that it be named in his honor the Scott Young Memorial Butterfly Garden. Other than that, all matters are in order.
Thank you. Councilman DeMauro.
Well, I echo everything that both of my colleagues said about Lake Como Day. It was fabulous. Really impressed with the thing. You know, being someone who runs a lot of events all the time, all over the country, with fireworks, people don't realize this. The real good part of a firework is actually cakes. And most fireworks displays around the country cannot use cakes because it's too low to the ground. Everyone is always looking in the air. But running the cakes that you guys had on the lake were incredible. It's the low stuff that kind of goes like this. You don't usually see that in a normal county or state fireworks display. So being able to do that in a small little town like this is really something special. So please pass that on next year to anyone you want to invite to Lake Como. That's something that's you don't see more often. So that thank you very much for that. It was a treat. Also, Chief, anything going on in the PD?
Nothing going on in the PD, but the Friendly Sons of the Shillelagh will be having their annual run this October 7th, beginning at 9 a.m. this weekend, so expect some delays in the move.
Right. Drew, anything with the first aid? I know there's some stuff, but anything for the public?
No.
I have nothing further, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Skull?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. So I have a little report tonight, so just bear with me. I want to first thank the list of people for Lake Como Day. I agree. I thought it was the best Lake Como Day that I've ever been to, and I've been to many, and I thought it was very incredible. So I want to thank Drew Heisman, Sean Rydholm, Joe Kelly, John Cusick, and Justin Braun from Lake Como DPW. Of course, they do so much heavy lifting, literally, figuratively. We could not do it without them. Director of Code Enforcement, Frank Sinelli, he stepped up and he was so helpful, directing vendors and just being really part of organizing that day. Mayor and council, of course, thank you all for your support and helping out at the t-shirt table as well. Kevin Lynch, he also helped us at the t-shirt table and was really just stepped in an important moment for Amy. Fire Marshal Ed Ratiniak, Chip Kavanaugh for his hot dog stand and making the donations to us. I think he sold 300 hot dogs that day. Bob Fahey, Joe's Surf Shack employees, and the entire Fahey restaurant group. Of course, Frankie and Tony Jones, who do such a great job organizing and helping at the beer garden, and they are our residents of the year as well. Little Dog Brewery for brewing the 100th anniversary beer for us this year. We have a little Lake Como Day committee, and they are fantastic. Heather, Councilwoman Al Maladoyle, is so helpful with the kids stuff, so thank you so much for helping out with that. It's really, really, I'm grateful for you for that. And then last but never least is Amy Boney, who really just brings it. She does it all. I mean, she really, really is instrumental in this day and the success of it all. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Amy. You are the most wonderful partner in crime. I just love working with you, so. I hope oh, and then of course our sponsors and vendors. I won't list them all out, but they'll be getting some special thank yous from us. So, and then I'm gonna let Council President Whitty talk about the fishing tournament and the 5K and thank those folks. But I did do I walked the 5K. It was great. Oh, Mother Nature, of course, the weather was fantastic. Like, I really think we could not have had a more perfect day. Okay, I'll move on. So the Belmar Elementary School asked me to announce this event that they're hosting for parents of the Belmar Elementary School. It's called Conversation, Addressing Digital Dependency and Mental Health. It's taking place at the school on Thursday, October 17th from 6 to 7 p.m. Parents are invited to participate and gain valuable strategies to support healthy digital habits and mental health at home. So this sounds like a really important event. They wanted me to promote it, so I'll put this on our Facebook page and we can share it from there. It's being hosted by someone named Kathy Ben Husen, who's a mom, teacher, author, coach, and co-creator. Okay, then I know it's only October 1st and we just finished Lake Como Day, but we do have our Lake Como Christmas tree lighting and Small Business Saturday event. Or just tree lighting, I should call it.
100th anniversary Christmas tree lighting.
Yes. November 30th, save the date, 3 to 8 p.m. We'll have vendors, crafts for kids, light refreshments, live music, caroling, and more. We usually have a special guest attend. And then, Chief, would you like me to announce about this? Yeah. Okay. Then on Monday, December 16th, is the Santa gift delivery around town. So we'll share details about that when we have a little bit more. Rain dates on Tuesday, December 17th. I think you'll probably have a flyer I can post and share around town. And then that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Council President Whitty.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I guess we'll start out now. 2024 was the 100th anniversary of the town. And throughout the year, we had many events. We had a kickoff where we had at Joe's Shack, where we introduced the 1924 beer that was made by Little Dog. And then we had the special meeting on June 3rd, which is 100 years of the first meeting of the Council of South Belmar at that time. And then we had the Mayor Bash, where we also celebrate the 100th anniversary. And then we had Lake Como Day. And part of Lake Como Day, I had vision to have the run, which was put together by Jersey Shore Running Club, and I want to thank them for doing an outstanding job. And it was a great success doing the run. Also, we had a fishing tournament for the kids, which was sponsored by Belmar PD. Chief, you want to give any comments regarding that?
It was a really good time. It's something that we're looking forward to doing again on an annual basis. The kids had fun, the parents had fun, the officers had a great time. We ended up giving out, I believe, 12 prizes. There was a first, second, third in each age group for the largest fish caught, and then a first place in each age group for most fish caught. I think the heaviest fish was about a pound. But it was a great day, we had a lot of fun, and we look forward to doing it again next year.
When I was a kid, I guess probably around 12, 13 years old, South Belmar at that time had a fishing contest. They had it for 1 year, I was in the contest, but they canceled it after the 1 year, they never had it again until this year. Also, I've been under the weather with health reasons for the last 2 months, so I want to thank the mayor for filling in and running some of the events that I could not attend. I appreciate, he's doing all the work for me. Other than that, matters in order.
Thank you. So the best part about Lake Como Day is walking around as the mayor and having everyone tell me that I did such a great job with Lake Como Day. You can put it on the record that I do very little for Lake Como Day. It is, you've heard it here tonight, you've heard all of the people that come together and make it such a wonderful day. The good news is that we probably had the best Lake Como Day in the history of Lake Como. The bad news is we're gonna have to try to do better next year. I think the weather was a big factor in how successful it was. We got a lot of good feedback about the 5K. Chief, I wanna just give a shout out to your department and all of the volunteers that work on all of the 5Ks that go through the town. We're a very small town. We have a lot of runs that go through, go around, go in between, everywhere in the town. And it can be tough sometimes on residents and people driving around. We made changes over the past couple of years to alleviate a lot of that pressure for the traffic and for our residents moving in and out of town. And since we've done that, I've gotten a lot of compliments from the residents about how they're not shut in or shut out when there's a 5K in town. So we do a very good job with that, Chief. Thank you very much for all of the work on that. And then we had our fishing tournament, which was very successful. I think we'll work on getting some bigger fish next year. But I think we're gonna have to keep doing these things. I think this is going to be part of Lake Como Day in the future, whether it be another 5K and another fishing tournament. But they were very successful, and I look forward to duplicating that success in the future. I want to thank everybody that had a hand in this. I want to thank everybody that showed up. There was a lot more people there than there have ever been in the past. I want a special shout out to our residents on North Boulevard. We commandeer their road for the entire day. And they enjoy the day just as much as everybody else, but I know that it's somewhat of an inconvenience to them. So thank you very much to them for allowing us to be in their front yards. Other than that, I have nothing to report. I will say as part of my report that for those of you that are here wishing to comment on the street ordinance that we've been talking about, one-ways and parking, it is under new business and you can comment at the first open public meeting. We did have some response last meeting about some of the one-ways on Greenwood and Bradley. Since that time, I've met with Councilwoman Albala Doyle, who in her wisdom suggested that we change what we were thinking about to seasonal one-ways on all of the streets. So if you do read, if you look at the current ordinance, you will see that the discussion that we had last week, that those one-ways changed to seasonal one-ways for the summer only and not year-round. So I just wanted to bring that up at this point before we open the public session, so you could ask any questions or have any comments on that. I have nothing else, so with that, I will take a motion to open for public comments on new business and consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So anyone from the public wishing to comment on any resolution or ordinance listed under the consent agenda, or new business can come to the microphone and do so now.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right, just need your name and address
I
again.
got the kick up. Stephen Petrosino, 312 18th Avenue. Just for clarity, I think we were hoping to not have the change on Greenwood, but if it's gonna be done, can we still keep that left turn? Would seem like it's
I'm
a
Bradley,
new idea.
coming out of Bradley, yes, that's part of the
So
idea.
if it stays that way, I guess it's doable.
Yep.
The other thing I like to say is, I'm a little skeptical with all the spending. I haven't come to a lot of meetings, I started getting more involved. I'm a little busy, I was reading through budgets quite a bit, spoke with Andrew a lot. And I know we go out for these bonds and there's some incentives because we're getting grants. I just hope everyone's realizing it's a credit card. And the taxpayers of the town are on the dole for those payments. And I just say, I'm 100% behind the board and the council. I think you guys are doing a tremendous job. I think I've been here over 50 years in this town. It's a world of difference from what it used to be. I'm a full-time resident now, proudly. I built a new home, I'm gonna build another one. And I think the town really is starting to look good. I get cautious when it comes to spending, because I always think governments don't spend like homeowners do. We're at a time where I'd say the economy is still up in the air. There hasn't been a soft landing. It may be a crash landing. We don't know yet. I think people potentially could be hurting a month, 2 months, maybe after the election. And I think when we start doing things like pickleball courts, and it sounds great on paper, but we have a pickleball court 6 blocks down in Spring Lake that we could play for free. We have one in Belmar that we could go play for free. And you're talking about $750,000. And when you tack the interest on top of that, $750,000, it's gonna break $1 million. And then we're gonna move this building across the street, we're gonna spend a couple more million. And I think, I'd like to see more development before we throw our hat in the ring and move this building. And we're talking about millions, we're not talking about 100,000 or 200, we're talking millions. I do construction for a living, and I know what it takes to build something, and it's never what it appears to be. I think we have a good building here. I wasn't keen on the idea. My fault for not getting more involved. I try to step back, and I think you guys have been handling it well. I just get cautious when it comes to heavy spending. You know, we just had a meeting 2 meetings ago about taxes, and you saw the reaction. My taxes went up 50%. I did some construction, so I just pay it and say, hey, I added more house, I have to pay more tax, I get it. But the rates is where I get concerned. You know, when it comes to, I was looking through the budget, the medical for the town went up $100,000 last year. We paid $100,000 in interest payments last year. You know, it's not chump change, it's starting to get real. You know, the town's $4 or $5 million in debt. I had multiple homes in Belmar. They were $30 million in debt. You know, it got scary there for a while. And water went through the roof. I sold everything. I'm wholeheartedly a Lake Como guy. I always was. I always preached Lake Como. It's got a great feel here. And Lake Como Day was part of that. I said to Andrew, right? I said, you know, Andrew, it's like one of them small town America movies. It was a great feel at that lake, watching all the residents and the kids smiling. And I hate to see those smiles turn into frowns when taxes go up again next year. Or if this soft landing is a crash landing, and then people are really hurting, and then you hit them with another 10%, 20%. You know, something has to give for a lot of people. You know, there's big new homes that are in the millions, I get it, but there's also a bunch of residents that own their homes for 30 years when they paid $39,000 for those homes. And they don't have the means, like some people complained about on North Boulevard. So I just say, use it with caution. I know everyone up here is smart and intelligent, but just really feel it, think about it before you spend it. And it's attractive when the state floats an incentive in front of you, but the other 2/3 come out of us. So that's all I have to say, I guess.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve Krilla, 1825 Bradley Terrace. I just wanted to say thank you guys very much for listening to the concerns of the residents on Bradley Terrace, on Greenwood, and that whole area regarding the one-way streets. And I really appreciate, even if it's just seasonal, let's see how it goes, or if it's seasonally permanently, that it's a step in the right direction, and to me it makes sense, so thank you.
Thank you, Allison.
Jean Gardner, 1811 Greenwood. I am not on the planning board, but I listen to Steve all the time. First, I would like to say I loved the fireworks. Those things on the bottom, they were amazing. So good job. My dog did not, but I love them, so he'll deal with it. The one-ways, most of us on Greenwood do not want it, but we understand. And we hope that you will look at what happens next year seasonally, and if it doesn't really accomplish what we need, that we can go back the other way, but at least thank you for listening to that part of it. With respect to the bonds and numbers, I have to agree with Steve. I am concerned about that. I think about it more from the perspective of, I'm 65 years old, I've got my house, I'm fine. I have 4 kids. I've seen them struggle to get their own houses. This is a community that they can't move into. And as taxes go up and the prices and the values go up, we're really boxing out a lot of people. And a lot of those small homes are getting boxed out with the taxes. They can't come here. I just want you to think about it just like Steve did. I think that we have to think about what's really important for the town. And again, I don't know that pickleball courts are it. I'm not saying they are or aren't, but I went bike riding with a friend of mine the other day, and she just pointed out every pickleball court. She had no idea that I was talking about this. She doesn't live in this town. And she's like, you have so many pickleball courts around here. This is great. So do we need that money? So please just think about it for the purpose of the young people that we really want to move into the town if we're going to move it to the next step. Thank you.
Thank you.
James Horace, 1821 Bradley Terrace. I would love to see the one-way strategy tried. Just, having moved back here, built a larger house, which now I'm being assessed for 3 years after it was built. But I parked my car in the street one night, and because I had company coming, and I don't want to have them get hit, because I know my brother right down the street has had the same thing happen. Friend comes, stops by, car gets hit. And I know I've been hit, my neighbors have been hit, and it sounds like something worth a shot. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, I'll take a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have one resolution under the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Under new business, we have ordinance 2024-10. It's the second reading and public hearing offered by Councilwoman Albala Doyle.
Thank you, Mayor. So offered, Borough of Lake Como Bond Ordinance 2024-10. This was the bond ordinance that we discussed that was providing for various improvements to Bearman Park. That was appropriating $475,000, which includes the Monmouth County Open Space Grant in the amount of $200,000 and authorizing the issuance of $261,500 in bonds and notes for the borough. And this was for including but not limited to the construction and installation of the dog park and the pickleball courts. The aforementioned pickleball courts.
I have a motion. This is a second reading, so there is a public hearing. If anybody would like to come to the mic and be heard on this specific ordinance, you can do so now.
I have a question.
Sure.
I asked this last meeting, and I don't know if I got the direct answer, but based on what the residents were saying tonight, what is the cost for the bond? What is it gonna come out to the average homeowner?
We do have our CFO with us tonight. I'm not sure if there's an answer to that specific question that you have.
So with these, we're looking at $260,000 worth of debt that we can authorize, for this project. Currently, we can handle that, so I'm looking to not necessarily issue any kind of notes or bonds so we can avoid paying interest on that. We can self-fund them over the next 5 to 10 years. So I'm looking to maybe increase or appropriate $25,000 to $30,000 a year in the budget to accommodate this, over the next 5 to 10 years. So at this current rate, that's about a third of a penny on the tax rate. So it wouldn't affect anything drastically.
That's a good answer. Thank you.
Okay, no more questions. I'll close the public portion and ask for a second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Liddy?
Yes.
Skull?
Yes.
Demoro?
Yes.
Ventries?
Yes.
Avalon?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance passes. We have ordinance 2024-11 offered by Council President Whitty.
So of they come on ordinance 2024-11. A bond ordinance providing for the improvement and repair to Marshall Avenue in the amount of $310,000 with a grant of $288,101. So the bond issuance will be for $20,850.
Thank you. This is also a second hearing, so if anyone would like to be heard on this specific ordinance, can come to the mic now. Seeing none, I'll take a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Liddy?
Yes.
Skull?
Yes.
Demoro?
Yes.
Ventries?
Yes.
Avalon?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2024-09. This is the first reading and introduction, amending parking and one-way street ordinance offered by Councilwoman Skull.
Thank you, Mayor. So offered ordinance 2024-09, ordinance amending Chapter 7, Traffic of the Borough Code. Be it ordained by the Borough Council of the Borough of Lake Como in the County of Monmouth and State of New Jersey, that the Code of the Borough of Lake Como be and is hereby amended as follows. I'm thinking I'm just going to summarize this, if that's okay. So this is prohibiting parking on the south side of 18th Ave from Main Street to New Bedford. It's prohibiting parking on the east side of Newman between 16th Avenue and 17th Avenue. And then the other changes would be to Greenwood Terrace. It would be south with parking, okay, Greenwood Terrace would be southbound.
One-way street.
Yep, one-way southbound. Bradley Terrace would be one-way street northbound. And 18th Avenue would be one-way east between B Street and Bradley Terrace, and those would be seasonal from May 15th to September 15th inclusive.
I just want to add addition to that. This would eliminate the 18th Avenue summer parking restrictions. The weekend restrictions that are currently in effect would be removed from the ordinance because there would be no parking on that street at all times.
Can we just clarify a point on that?
Sure.
Just clarifying that when you are on Greenwood, this would allow you to still turn, if you're heading southbound, left or right, onto 19th. And if you are on Bradley heading northbound, you will be able to turn left or right onto 18th.
So we have a motion. Would anybody like to add anything?
I'd like to ask the engineer a couple questions.
Sure. Can you come to the mic, please, and just...
Excuse me, of course, thank you all for having me tonight. I don't think I have to tell anybody that parking is a hot topic, especially in a community such as Lake Como. But I can offer any insight I can. I'll be happy to help, yes.
My only question is that I think we're trying to, we have a problem, obviously. We're a small town, small streets, and limited parking, and tight, and there's tight when you start walking, you start going with two-way streets. I understand that. My question is, do you have any, townwide, I'm not looking at any specific area at this point, town-wise, any suggestions on what you've seen in other towns, is go all one way or go two ways and, you know, enter and exit a town, you know, what's the rule of thumb on it?
Absolutely. So the borough is unique in the sense that a lot of the roads are inadequate of width to handle two-way traffic and parking on both sides of the street. I think that's the reason, in my opinion, why you see the accidents as some of the residents have even said tonight. So with that being said, we really only have three options, one of which really is an option. We can go to one-way parking, one-way travel with two-sided parking, two-way traffic and one-side parking, or you could widen the roads, which we wouldn't be doing that. So to your point, or I almost give you almost a cop-out, I can't answer the question because it's really up to the governing body. It would be, what do you look at of more value? The parking, which is clearly a big commodity, or the flow of traffic? So to your question, most municipalities that will do one-way, like a grid system, are almost aligned like a grid. You think of portions of Asbury Park. They're going east, west, north, and south. Now, not that Lake Como isn't, but a lot of the roads do kind of meander, so you're almost in a loop. You almost get stuck in a loop. So I think trying to do seasonal with the alterations of doing certain allowances of two-way, I think help. I think it would be a nice thing to see. Parking is fluid and travel is fluid.
No, I understand, there's no answer.
Yeah.
You know, I've been batting my head about this, but now specifically, I live on Newman.
Yes.
Okay? And when it was a two-way street, my truck was hit. Okay, so we went to one way and it's been fine. But I also respect and understand that it's probably better off being a two-way street. However, now you lose 5 or 6 parking spaces.
Sure, just on your portion, I agree. I looked into it, you know, you do lose those spaces, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And that gets back to, it's really, you can take recommendations or insight or anything from myself or any professional, but it would be up to, you know.
No, I understand, but the other question I have is not, if it's so important, this is where I'm having a little difficulty with it. If it's so important that Bradley stays a two-way street during the winter and then to a one-way in the summer, then why aren't we doing the same thing on Newman with the same issue?
So something like that, I think, in this instance on Newman specifically, I believe more so to the point of summer traffic would be on 17th Avenue, there's a lot of backup. So what that'll allow, or even just if you look in the wintertime, what that'll allow is if you're on Westerly, you now be able to get out, go north to Belmar, you can go 15th or 13th, go west, or you would still be allowed to go south to 18th and go to the travel lane. That was the.
No, it's a no-win situation.
Yeah, and that's honestly, that's why.
I just wanted to get on record that it wasn't just me voting or council voting, that it was on the record from an engineer, so I
Of course,
appreciate it.
no, and like to your point, it's very fluid, and I don't want to say there's never a right answer, because obviously there's circumstances where there aren't, but in this case, with the insufficient width, and being such a community that's mainly residential, that some of the residents don't even have driveways, they use the on-street parking, I get it, I do. And we're putting a pickle of trying to figure out what to do. I don't know.
No, I understand. Thank you very much.
No, of course.
And I think it goes back to what we've talked about this as a council for years. And we workshopped this a couple of meetings ago where that is really the end game, right? You're either one way or you're parking on one side for most of the streets in town. And I think what we've done over the years is try things. Try it, see if it works. We've heard that tonight. And even when we talked about this in committee level, those are some of the things that we talked about. And I don't think there's an overwhelming harm in trying something to see if it works. And if it doesn't, we're malleable and we can flex and we can go back to the way it was or make other changes based on those discussions. But I think that's where we're at right now with a certain point. We're at that point with certain places in our town. And I don't think this is going to be an ending conversation, right? This is something that we're going to talk about for months and years.
It's unsolvable.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it,
Yeah.
but it's unsolvable.
So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any other questions from the council? I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitty?
Yes.
Scull?
Yes.
DeMauro?
No.
Ventries?
Yes.
Malaloy?
Yes.
Thank you, the ordinance passes. We have now, that ordinance passed the first reading, excuse me. Resolution 2024-129, offered by Councilman DeMauro. While you're pulling it up, I would just like to say for the record, the Mets won the first game of their series. Just got an alert, very happy.
Where do they play?
Playing in Milwaukee,
No, I meant, where do they play?
City Field.
I thought the Yankees were going to. Resolution 2024-129, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Lake Como for the proper officers is directed and authorized to make payments for the following accounts. Current account, water, sewer, tourism, ACH wire payments, $260,000, $367,000.
Thank you. A motion to have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitty?
Yes.
Scull?
Yes.
DeMauro?
Yes.
Ventries?
Yes.
Malaloy?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2024-130, offered by Councilman Ventries.
Thank you, Mayor. So offer Resolution 2024-130, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Lake Como that the proper officers be directed and authorized to make payment for the following account. The current account, New Jersey Natural Gas Company, $94.87.
Thank you. Roll call, please. First, do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitty?
Yes.
Scull?
Yes.
DeMauro?
Yes.
Ventries?
Yes.
Malaloy?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2024-131, offered by Councilwoman Baladoa.
Thank you, Mayor. So offering Resolution 2024-131, which is a resolution authorizing the Borough Engineer services for the improvements to Bearman Park project. Authorizes Leon Avakian Associates to perform engineering services for the improvements, as I said, to the park in the amount not to exceed $68,000.
Thank you. A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitty?
Yes.
Scull?
Yes.
DeMauro?
Yes.
Ventries?
Yes.
Malaloy?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2024-132, offered by Council President Whitty.
So of resolution 2024-132, resolution authorizing borough engineering service for the improvements of Margin Avenue Phase 2 project to locking in the back to see $49,000.
Thank you. Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitty?
Yes.
Scull?
Yes.
DeMauro?
Yes.
Ventries?
Yes.
Malaloy?
Yes.
Resolution 2024-133, also known as Councilman Ventries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Wait, do you have to look at?
So offer Resolution 2024-133, resolution of the Borough of Lake Como Council executive sessions. Whereas the Borough Council of the Borough of Lake Como must discuss matters which are not appropriate for discussion in public meeting. Whereas these subjects are within the exceptions of the Open and Public Meetings Act and are permitted to be discussed in closed session pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B7. These are matters that involve legal advice and the attorney-client privilege. The length of closed session will not be more than 30 minutes, after which the Borough Council will reconvene and action may be taken.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitty?
Yes.
Scull?
Yes.
DeMauro?
Yes.
Ventries?
Yes.
Malaloy?
Yes.
You know, if you're ever absent from a meeting, we will not be able to go into closed session. At this time, I'll take a motion to open for public comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone wishing to make a public comment for the mayor and council can come to the mic and do so now. Any public comment whatsoever? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, the mayor and council will go into executive session. We will use this chamber to go into executive session. We shouldn't be more than 30